Hello, everyone, and welcome to the She Shoots podcast, Women Empowered Women in the Shooting Community, Season 3, Episode 27. Today is Amber Berukoff, Fun Shoot Fundamentals, covering the theme of professional/career. No, coaches, mentors. Never mind. My name is Regina Ruiz Ordonez, and I'm from the Canadian University Shooting Federation. And joining me today, as always, are Deneen Tomlin and Casey Gavinchuk from Lady Guns, and Kelly Melanson from Maple Seed Project, Sunfire Radio, and CCFR Women's Program. I would like to start by thanking our sponsors, Cabela's Canada Outdoor Fund, positively shaping the future of the outdoors. Every cent donated by rounding up a checkout goes towards helping Canadian organizations just like ours. Savage Arms, home to the Stevens single-shot rifles and shotguns. Wow, I can't speak today. Beretta, family-owned and operated since 1526. Vortex, the best in optics, and Canada First Ammo. If you have any questions or comments throughout the show, like how I can't speak well today, make sure to leave them in the chat box below. Doing so will automatically enter you in today's giveaways. Today we have a She Shoots t-shirt and a Canada First Ammo prize pack. That is it for me. Deneen and Kelly, it's all to you guys.
Thank you, Regina. No problems with talking the rest of the way. I think we should be fine because we've got the beautiful Amber on the line, and she's been with us previously. So I get the honor of introducing you, Amber, and then Kelly and I will have a little chat with you and talk about how you create fun in the shooting sport. So welcome and welcome back. So
thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let me get this bio part over with, and we'll get into the fun stuff. So Miss Amber Berukoff, and her friends call her Lola. So if you know her on social, she's also referred to as Lola. Amber is a business owner in the beautiful city of Castlegar, BC, and a mom of two wonderful children. Her businesses include Cantac Firearms, Cantac Machining Limited, and a candy store. And she's joining us live from the candy store tonight. She is a licensed gunsmith as well as a certified range officer. And in her spare time, she enjoys running matches, events, and classes that entice women, kids, and those who need help stepping into the firearms community, giving them the opportunity to do so. In her community, she's the director of multiple nonprofits related to wildlife conservation and community management. Some positions she holds are match director for the West Kootenay Marksmen, president of the Castlegar Pistol Club, and the founder and managing director of the West Kootenay Ladies Shooting Group. I have a quote here from Amber I'd like to share. Seeing the look of excitement that new shooters get is everything to me, and it's my goal to be that stepping stone for whoever needs that. And I think that's beautiful. Once again, thank you for joining us, and welcome to the show. And over to you, Kelly.
Well, I'd like to say hello and welcome to Amber. We've known each other for a couple of years now, and you've been on the podcast before. You've been on with the CCFR and talking about the Gunny Girl calendar, but also you've been on previously as well when we talked about other things that are going on.
Absolutely.
Like the gunsmithing and everything associated with that. So we're happy to have you back on again. But for those that haven't listened to the previous episodes, why don't you tell us a little bit about you exactly? How'd you get into firearms?
So long story super short, I was a single mom and I needed a job. So I started working at a gun store and I kind of fell into a rabbit hole and it went off from there. So I'm sure everybody has that story where you kind of fall down into it. And I just fell in love. It was a ton of fun and I found my range family. So
more than just a range family, you found I'm going to talk about specifically a group of women or groups of women that you identify with.
Absolutely. All over the country too.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're a busy mom, we talked about. We have two beautiful children. They are absolutely gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you.
You're a business owner, and as part of that, you are a gunsmith as well as an RSO. Why don't you tell us a little bit? We are going to talk about fun shoots, but we want to talk a little bit about gunsmithing and also the RSO aspect of things. I think one of the reasons is because we do want to talk about it a little bit because the fact that we are She Shoots, and it's something that's a little different. Normally, gunsmithing and even RSOing is really male dominated in gun ownership or the gun community. So how'd you get into the gunsmithing piece of it?
So the gunsmithing came along with the firearms job. I noticed that there was a huge need for it. At the time, the shop only had one gunsmith, and we just had so many people coming in wanting it done. So I thought, you know what, this would add to my resume. It would help the shop out a ton. And so I went and took multiple online courses through different colleges / universities. And then I, quote, apprenticed under the gunsmith here. Now, I'm sure people are aware that gunsmithing isn't a recognized trade in Canada, unfortunately.
Right.
To be licensed, you do have to have your federal firearms business license. So while there's no schooling that you technically need to have, I still wanted to have that knowledge under my belt. And I've had the most amazing people teach me. And I mean, I'm still learning and it's a ton of fun. And I've had the best help. And I still call people to this day when I, have a question that I can't answer. So it's been fantastic. So while it is male dominated, and unfortunately it still is, I'm really hoping some women will step up into it because it's a really fun trade to get into. It falls under machining. So I always say, if you want to be a gunsmith, go for your machining because at least, if gunsmithing is slow, you have something to fall back on and you have a lot more skills that you can put forward. So, and then the RSO kind of fell into that as well. So,
Are you finding that there is a little bit of is it sexism towards you being a female gunsmith?
a little bit, yes.
Okay.
Oddly enough, not by anybody in the industry.
Okay.
I find that most of the sexism comes from people outside of the industry who are just not understanding of, say, like the gun laws and things that you need to do surrounding that. And then they have questions. And I find that that's where it comes from because they can't believe that a female is telling them what's going on with the firearms industry. But as far as it goes for the actual people in the industry, I've had nothing but smiles and helps.
Wonderful.
And yeah, no, it's been fantastic.
Wonderful. That's awesome to hear. It's great that we are supporting you as a gunsmith and as a business owner. It's not unusual to get some pushback from those that are not part of the industry. Maybe it's because they're not as educated. Maybe I'd like to think that, right?
Same.
I can say I've received a couple of phone calls from some highly recognized and respected male individuals in the shooting industry looking for Amber's contact info because she has such a good reputation. So,
Oh, good.
Yeah. What's wonderful to hear.
It makes me super happy when that kind of thing gets out. And I always say, like, I'm always learning. Nobody can know everything. So, and it's just as the whole thing goes on, and even like, for example, I compare gunsmithing to automotive mechanics, right? There's always new vehicles coming into play. You're always having to learn what's coming in, right? And so it's a ton of fun. So anybody that wants to get into gunsmithing, do it.
I think it's a wonderful idea. I think that we need to have more females in this gun community itself, but gunsmithing, absolutely. But even
There's
if you're
definitely a
a
need for
male,
them.
go and do that as well, because obviously we need more gunsmith here in Canada.
Absolutely.
I think one of the reasons why you're really well respected is because of all the things that you do within the gun community as well. Your name is out there because you're front and center and you're doing all kinds of different things, whether it's through conservation, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, but also with everything that you're doing, you're putting your mouth where
I get the phrase.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, you're putting into action all that stuff that you're really excited about. So you are the president of the Castlegar Pistol Club.
Yep.
And you're a match director, but you're also actually the founder and director of the West Kootenay Ladies Shooting Group. And that's kind of what we want to talk about tonight. Not kind of, it is exactly. One of the reasons is because if people who follow you on Facebook as well as Instagram, they'll see that you have all kinds of really fun things that you do there. The West Kootenay Ladies Shooting Group is it's a large group, and you guys are so active in the community, but all the fun things that you do, it's really exciting. Some of the really, do you want to tell us about some of the really fun shoots that you've been able to organize in the past couple of years?
So the way that the West Kootenay Ladies Shooting Group works is it's the same as any other not-for-profit. We have a wonderful board of ladies who sit on and help volunteer and organize everything. So it's not just me. I'm just the pretty face most of the time, but the ladies do a lot of the grunt work, and it's amazing. We have classes, events, and shoots. The large events are basically our fun ones. And so we have the gun bunny match that's
Yeah.
usually in April, and it's obviously Easter themed. We have to do it. All of our range safety wear Easter bunny ears, and we have an Easter egg hunt for the youth that come out with us. And then we have the match that goes on. We always have prizes and then a lunch, and it's just a really great time to get out. Then we
Mhm.
have the Ghouls event in October, where we have the families dress up in costumes. We have best costume contests. And then, of course, we shoot zombies and, all the gross things. And again, prizes and lunch. And we also last year had a live performance from 3 of our members who brought their musical instruments. So while they were waiting to go on the line, they were entertaining everybody else. And that was a lot of fun. The most popular one, I would say, though, is the Girls, Gowns, and Crowns,
Yeah.
which gained a ton of social media attention. That one I started 3 years ago. And originally, that one actually had nothing to do with the ladies' club. It was my business anniversary. And I thought, you know what? I want to do something different. I have these dresses in my closet that I never get to wear. They're just sitting there. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to wear a dress to the range and have a little bit of a party kind of thing. And I had invited the ladies' club to come out and join me. I brought all of my firearms, and I said, and if you want to bring your own, please do. But the rules are you have to dress up, whatever you're comfortable in, as long as it's black tie. And I'm going to be wearing a crown. And if you want to wear a crown, great. And it had garnered so much attention, and so many other ladies were like, this is really fun. I want to do this. So then it became an annual thing. And so now it's just called Girls, Gowns, and Crowns. And the West Kootenay Ladies Shooting Group took it over. So now we plan it. And it's every, I think, July. I think it's like the second weekend in July. And we borrow all the prom dresses from the grad that just passed. We slap on some crowns. Partners can come as long as they're black tie. It doesn't really matter. And we just go out and have a blast and then go out to dinner after.
It's so fantastic seeing all those pictures of all the women dressed up in some of them are in ball gowns, some of them are in wedding gowns, some of them are in prom dresses, the tiaras, the guns, and you even have a couple of guys that do dress up that are there as
Absolutely. Well,
well.
that's the rule. Like, I really don't mind how people dress up as long as it's black tie, because I still want people to be comfortable at the end of the day. But the gentlemen, they have fun, and it's nice that they're looking very dapper at the range. And it's hot the second weekend of July, and they put it and they give it their all. Everybody does. And the last year we did it, we actually had ladies come from out of town, book hotels just to come to this event. And it was fantastic. And it's nice because it's such a knit group. And we all get each other's contacts afterwards and we all stay in touch. And it's just, we're all great friends now. So.
And that's part of it. You're growing that community, you're growing that network, but it's through a fun event. And there's so many clubs that are wondering how to put on these fun events or where do you get started. So you do want to talk about how you got started with them, how you came up with the ideas?
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, the fun matches themselves came a little afterwards. But originally it started because my very first shoot that I ever did before I even really got into the firearms, it was at the trap and skeet range. And I was the only lady there. And it was a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Scary. It was scary. Shotguns. And you watch all these videos on YouTube and you see these people getting blown backwards and you're like, oh my God, like the fear sets in. And I hadn't really ever shot a gun before. I grew up Doukhobor, so guns weren't a thing. And it was just a fear. And I'm looking over for like another lady to like maybe lean on and have that like, oh, okay, like let's stick together kind of thing. And it was just me. I mean, thankfully the men were wonderful. They're great mentors of mine still. But it kind of set a thing in me. And I'm like, how do I get more ladies to come out? And throughout the years, as I was learning and my mentors were teaching me and I was getting out to the range more, there was no ladies really, aside from the women who would come with their husbands and score keep. And while they were wonderful and they were nice, the shooting wasn't really their thing. And I was like, you know what can I do to change this? So as I took over the Castlegar Pistol Club and became the president, I thought, you know what, I'm going to start a ladies league. And it started really small because it was during COVID. So we had 5 at a time because that's all we were allowed. And it was filled every single time. And I brought my own firearms. I shot like one lady at a time, which was nice that it was 5 at a time because, as per the Federal Firearms Act, if they're not licensed, you have to have that one-on-one. And I started a little Facebook group and it was filling up every time. In fact, I had ladies on a wait list saying, if somebody can't go, let me know. And I thought, wow, this is getting really popular. And as the months were going on, and more and more and more ladies were joining into this thing. And I thought, this is great. And that's when I came up with the West Kootenay Ladies Shooting Group, made it a not-for-profit society, invited women who had been coming to these 5-person classes very often. And I'm like, you know what? You're great at this now. You're learning. You have your firearms license. What do you think about being part of this group? And thankfully, they all said yes. They ran with it, and it got big. It got big, so which is really nice. So anything is possible as long as you have a great group of people who are willing to put the effort into organizing these things. And it honestly doesn't take much. Give one person a job and then it's easier, right? So planning a huge event that takes 10 different steps, if you have 10 women to do it, it goes by like that.
Yeah. What are some of the important things that you need to think about prior to having these fun shoots?
Well, there's probably about 4 things that go into it. The first one is always safety. You have to have the safety, especially if you're bringing in people who are unlicensed, following the rules in that way. Second one is firearms. Not everybody has firearms. And when you think about getting into the firearms community, not only do you have to go and take your license, you have to pay to then file that license. You have to purchase a firearm and I mean, half the time you're so uneducated at that point, you don't even know what to get. So what matches can you even use these firearms with? And then you have to have ideas, right? And I mean, YouTube's a great place to do it. Look at all the other things that gun clubs do. So those are like the 4 things that I focused on. Thankfully, I was already a range safety officer. Being the president of the Castlegar Pistol Club, I did all my certifications online and then, of course, trained with the ranges and the mentors themselves. And then, of course, with my firearm store, I had firearms that I was able to essentially donate. And I say that because I didn't give my business a choice. And so I had gotten a whole bunch of 22s, all the same, so that the ladies could learn on. And it was easy for me because I had all the resources available. And then the ladies that helped with all the ideas, it's really nice. We bounce off all these fun things. Like we do a paint night with 22s where we fill up balloons with paint. We just put, cardboard or poster paper underneath them and the ladies shoot them. And then we make the ladies bring them back to their husbands or kids to hang them up on that fridge so that they have something on the fridge too. And it's just, it's great. I mean, it takes a little bit of planning, but once you got that movement going, it's easier as you go on.
Yeah, it's really great to hear that you've got a group of ladies that are there for you. You take ideas, you bounce them off each other, and you're able to come up with something different. What about the community support? Are you seeing great community support from the people that are in your community?
We couldn't do it without the people in the community. So, for example, the Gun Bunny Match and the Ghouls event, last year we had over $7,000 in prizes given to us by local businesses, as well as Black Creek Labs is a huge sponsor for us. They've sent us 2 firearms to raffle off during these events, which is great. And then, of course, local businesses donate so much that we can have a gun giveaway, as well as, if you don't have your license, because I like to do both, because the people that come to our events, again, like I said, aren't always licensed, but we have that safety behind them so that they're still able to participate and kind of get their feet wet and see if they like it. So yeah, the local businesses are just amazing. And I always say it's nice to go to these events because you pay, like, depending, $30 to $50 for an all-day event.
Okay.
It covers your ammo and firearms. It gives you lunch, and then you walk away with a prize valued at like $150. and it's fantastic. And not only that, the regional district is actually a huge supporter of us too. So we get a lot of grant work given to us. And yeah, no, we've had no pushbacks whatsoever. Everybody has just been so amazing to us.
So you've talked about your community of women, and you've talked about your community of support. So let's talk about that growth, that groundswell that you've talked about, and how it developed out. Do you continue to see new shooters? Do you continue to see new sponsors? What is it trending like now, Amber?
It's still just as big as it used to be, and it's been fantastic because the way that the West Kootenay Ladies Shooting Group works is we're obviously not our own range. We don't have our own range. We're just a not-for-profit. So we have to work with the other ranges in the area. So Castlegar Pistol Club being one of them, West Kootenay Marksmen being another, Trail Wildlife Association. And then we just linked up a little while ago with the Nelson Rod and Gun Club. So the way that we worked it out to have range days with them, because we didn't want to take away from their members, essentially booking up range days that they couldn't use. So we came up with an agreement for all of us to essentially be under their umbrella. So the way that it works is to be a West Kootenay Ladies Shooting Group member, you have to be a member of one of the surrounding ranges, which is great because not only did it boost their membership up to like 30 to 40% depending on the clubs, it brought in, their family members, everything, because people are posting on social media. They're saying, look what we're doing. And it's funny, I actually went a little while ago to the bank account, me, a not-for-profit society, go into the bank account, and I said, I'd like to deposit this money. And the lady pulled up the account and goes, oh my goodness, my friend told me about this. Are you the one that runs this? And I was like, absolutely. Here's our information. And you could just see how it's been like bouncing around the area.
That's fantastic. So I think that's a really critical point to emphasize, is that a couple of things. You're using multiple gun ranges, so you're including an entire wealth of resources and knowledge and members. But your second point is it's increasing membership to all of the ranges. And with ranges currently seeing decreases because of our current pressures from gun legislations, I think that maybe there's a nugget in there, Amber, that anybody listening or watching this down the road can take away for membership growth, is work not just with your members, but with groups outside that want to bring events. And I bring that up because Lady Guns has had great success, and in some cases we've been told to go away because we're not members. And I appreciate what you said about working within their events calendar. But if there's any additional words of advice or key bits of wisdom you could drop with us tonight on that, we'd love to share that with our listeners, because gaining gun club membership is something that's going to help the industry.
Oh, absolutely. And it's huge. And just like you said, before I stepped into it, and I mean, again, the way that societies work is everything is public in terms of their memberships every year. And you could see that a lot of the firearms ranges that I sit on the board for, they were in quite a decline, especially with COVID, right? People have fear of not being able to get out, right? And when I had started it and we had come to the agreement that, this is what we would do. We would boost your membership to use your range. We'll host our matches, right? And we include the ranges as well, right? So when we host, say at the West Kootenay Marksmen range, it goes out to all their members, right? So, their wives, their kids, their sisters, their aunts and everything have that opportunity to say, basically it's an open invitation to the members' families, right? And it's really great because it pulls those people in and they see what's been going on. And so, it's a great thing to do. It's a lot of organization. It's a lot of work. But I mean, it's, if we don't have these gun clubs, we have nowhere to shoot. So it's worth it to put the effort in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. That's great advice. And maybe something a few of us can take away into this season as new ideas, for sure.
I think it's
Absolutely.
I think it's really important for those that are listening or actively trying to look at ways to increase their membership, to think about outside the box, but include like
Absolutely.
Deneen had talked about, if there's organizations out there that are trying to bring people in to work
Mhm.
with them.
Yeah,
Um,
well, and the great thing is like Lady Guns, you're your own organization. Same with West Kootenay Lady Shooting Group. We can do our own fundraising too. So when we host these matches, we're not taking money from the ranges, right? That may be set aside for something else. We can go in, we don't touch any of their, funds.
yep.
We supply everything. We host these matches and they benefit from the membership. And I mean, I get to see the happy faces, so I benefit too, but
Yeah.
it's fantastic. It's a win-win all the way around. So
I like the point you made about each of the clubs has the opportunity to reach into their membership and all of the women and youth in their membership.
Mhm.
And so what I would say that you're bringing benefits to their membership
Absolutely.
by that joint venture or agreement that you have in place. So
Yeah,
I think that's another win-win that people can take if they're trying to negotiate with their local club on something
absolutely.
like this. Absolutely.
We always have people asking us how to get their partner, and we're talking about male or those that are shooting, how to get their partner. How can I get my wife interested in it? And these are the type of events that absolutely 100% they would be interested in,
Mhm.
especially those that are club members at a specific range and send out that invite. They're more likely to come out and have an understanding. And then it also, the family then has a multiple, or their the pal people within the household increases,
Mhm.
and then also the gun ownership increases significantly as well. So one of the other things I think that you have really done well is the community support. I think it also speaks well for you and your organization, but you do gift Christmas baskets. You organize these things, and it's community giving back to the community. So it's
Yeah.
giving back to the community, but it's also giving recognition for all the wonderful work that you do. And the gun community is not a bad community to belong to, it looks like, and all of the press that you get and the Facebook exposure and social media
Mhm.
exposure. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about the annual Christmas baskets
Yeah, so
you do?
I will say that that's not something I came up with. When I had started the West Kootenay Lady Shooting Group, and I had women coming in, of course, a lot of these women are now my best friends, and we talk all the time. One of them being a lovely woman named Angela Grant. She was the one that started the Adopt a Senior program in Castlegar, and I had asked her to be on the board for the WKLSG, and she absolutely said yes, which was great. And of course, she wanted to do something. She's such a kind soul. She wanted to start something, and that was in her area. She was a carry and did all that stuff, and she saw a need. And of course, in return, she said, Amber, I know you do a lot of like volunteer work. Do you want to sit on my board? And I was like, you know what? Absolutely, I do. So she organizes, she puts so much effort into what's called the Adopt a Senior program, which is Christmas. So what we essentially do is we go to all of the senior centers, we go to the food banks, we get a list of the people who are in need, and then we have people adopt these seniors, and they buy anything on their list that need to be done, food, packages, all that good stuff, and then we deliver them. So I'm the person that collects. I also allow donations to be brought to my stores because sometimes people can't meet the pickup drop off, and then we go
Yeah.
and we deliver all these gifts. So it's fantastic. And I mean, it goes above and beyond just the Christmas hampers. For example, the Adopt a Senior program has paid for various dental work that needs to be done, things like that. And we get money from the community and we do all that good stuff. Angela can speak better to that one, but it's a fantastic program and I love it. I probably cry like a baby every single year after it's done because you just see all the happy faces, especially when you're going to the outreach people and knocking on people's door and giving them these baskets that they didn't quite know were coming. So it's fantastic.
You know what? It's something that came to mind, Amber and Kelly, when you were talking about that, is that people think of us, dirty, dark gun owners as these horrible
Absolutely.
people. And and
Absolutely.
and and listening to you and watching your face light up when you talk about these women and the recipients, it shows the beauty of the community, and that you never know about the facets of somebody else's life. And so you met this wonderful woman who's a caregiver. She's part of your community, you're part of hers. And it just shows that we're not single focused, we're not single minded.
It takes away the stigma.
Yeah,
right? And when you see these
that's
people in the
beautiful.
community doing all these things, and no, it's fantastic. We have so many walks of life in the ladies shooting.
Nope.
We lost.
She went
We
dark.
lost Amber for a second.
She will be back, I am sure. We all got so excited about how things are doing so well and going so well that it didn't go so well anymore.
Well, I think it's really important to touch on what we were just talking about. I think it's really important for us to do these.
My bad.
There you go.
Somebody called my business phone and I thought I shut it all off.
That's okay. We were just talking about how important it is to do these community outreach. It shows that
I can't hear you guys.
Oh dear.
She'll have to
Let's
change her settings.
Well, she works on her settings.
Casey's working furiously in the background trying to check settings. So yeah. Absolutely. So yes, and she's gone again. I just loved that segue from firearms fun shoots to community gift programs and community giving. And it didn't seem to matter the age, Kelly. It didn't seem to matter the background. It didn't seem to matter what they did for a living. They're all rallying to make the community a better place. Absolutely. And you know, if there's something we can take away from being part of a giving and building an energy filled gun community like Amber's, it's that they seem to be building better all the time. So I'm always jealous because I see the posts and I'm like, damn, I want to wear a ball gown and a tiara. I want to shoot pumpkins, and so I guess I'll just have to get into my truck someday. And
well, I think part of this is to show that we too can do this. We just need a little bit of time, effort, and some help to organize it.
Absolutely. Are you with us now, Amber? You're on mute. You're there. You're off mute. Still can't hear you. Still can't hear you.
I think you need to change your settings in StreamYard because you've inserted a set of. It looks like you've changed the way that you're communicating through a mic. And
oh my goodness.
Anyways, well, you work on that.
Well, I guess we're just going to have to talk about her a little bit, Kelly, while she's setting that up. So at the top of the show, we talked about a couple of her business pursuits. So she's got Cantac Firearms, which is her gunsmithing and all the work she does with that, and has a retail store. She has Cantac Machining, which not only can she work on firearms, but she does a whole variety of other things.
Fabrication.
And if anybody sees her on social media, she built a dinosaur. Fabricated
there we go.
dinosaur.
Can you guys hear me now?
There we go.
I don't know what happened. I got a ghost haunting my candy store here.
Yeah, we were just talking about the variety of companies and type of things that you do. We're talking about firearms and machining. I just mentioned your dinosaur that you built last year. And Bert. So because everybody has to follow you on social media for sure. And we were just going to mention the candy store, and you showed up live from the candy store again. So.
It's my lovely candy store.
So tell us a little bit about the candy store.
Well, the candy store came about because with the machining and gunsmithing, it was something my son was more interested in. And I mean, I hate to think of the future like this, but if I were to ever pass away, my kids would essentially want to split the business instead of, my son taking it over and doing what he wants to do. And I thought, well, what can I do to make it fair? So I sat down and I thought about it for a really long time. And my daughter was into like, you know, everything sweet and all the TikTok candy videos and everything like that. And I thought, you know what? There's nothing like this in our area, in Castlegar. And it would be fun. It's different. There's nothing different here. And it was great. So my daughter helped me out with it for the most part. So now I've got essentially, we say that the candy store is my daughter's business. And then of course the machine shop is my son's business, is our little outstanding joke. So, but it's been a lot of fun. It's quite a different group of people that come in the candy store versus the machine and, you know, gunsmithing. But it's been fantastic. And any lady that comes in the candy store, I kind of bombard them and I say, you know, by the way, we have a ladies group in the area. So, and it's been fantastic because a lot of ladies who I've talked to that way actually end up coming out and signing up. And it's been fantastic.
And I've got to say that we who volunteer for the Gunny Girl Calendar photo shoot,
we benefit from it.
Are the beneficiaries of these care packages that Amber brings.
Every year I bring my sweets.
You do.
Absolutely.
So thank you. But it just goes to show how well-rounded you are.
Absolutely.
Do you want to talk a little bit about how passionate you are about the conservation piece of
I'd
things
love to hear
as well?
Yeah.
Because I think that's a huge part of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so with the gun ranges that I sit on, quite a few of them work hand in hand with the wildlife groups. So for example, Castlegar Pistol Group works hand in hand with the Castlegar District Wildlife Association. And because I am the president of CPC, I sit on the board for the CDWA. So while I don't necessarily sit on as say an environmentalist or, you know, a conservation person, I do get to sit and listen and have my say, which is fantastic because it's really nice to know what's going on in the area, especially for my area right now because the water's really low. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Kootenay region at all, but the water has been really low, and we've had a lot of fish, unfortunately, passing away because they get caught in the little pools when the water lowers and rises. And then, of course, mussels as well. And then skipping forward, trail as well with the West Kootenay Marksmen. I also sit on the Trail Wildlife Association board. And again, I am just a range director on their board, but it's really nice to be able to sit and again, listen to all the people who are very well versed in it. And I will actually be attending the BC Wildlife Annual General Meeting this weekend. Actually, I leave tomorrow, representing the Castlegar and District Wildlife Association. So I'll get to sit in on all of what BC is essentially doing, which is fantastic.
Wow. First of all, seriously don't know how you sleep. Second of all, I know how you don't sleep because I've spent weekends with you. Third of all, when you said you went down rabbit hole, you've gone so far down that rabbit hole.
Oh, I tripped and I swear to gosh, I haven't found the bottom yet.
Yeah.
Well, we're all benefiting from that. Exactly. So just keep going down that rabbit hole, Amber. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Right.
You are endless and tireless energy. And I want to bring something up, Kelly, because I was just thinking we had a great interview with our provincial CFO on a recent podcast. And she said, we asked her about supporting and building and growing the gun community. And she said there are 3 critical things we have to do in order to support and maintain and sustain our industry. And I actually have them written down beside me. She said we have to be mobilized at all times, and to do that we have to join groups, we have to donate our time and you know whatever we have, and we have to volunteer. And and you are the poster child, my dear, for this type of mobilization, because you are touching all kinds of people in all walks of life, and you are ensuring that you walk the talk. And it's really amazing to see what you're doing, and it's been such a pleasure getting to know you over these few years. But it is congratulations on going to the AGM and representing your group with BC
I'm really
Wildlife.
excited about that. They have a banquet with wild game, so I like to think I'm the one that, you know, is spoiled with that one. I mean, it's going to be work when you're there, of course, but you know, that's fantastic. But I want to actually touch on the volunteer portion of it. because this is a big thing. The people that enjoy the ranges, they get out and they use the matches, right? And they bring their families and everything like that. There's a percentage of people who volunteer within those ranges, and it's only about 5% of the membership. And that worries me because those 5% do a lot of the work and they're going to get burnt out. And if those people aren't there to organize, the clubs sit dormant and nothing gets done. And then those ranges end up just falling behind. So if you're a part of a range and you don't currently volunteer, and I mean, you don't have to do what I do. You don't have to go out there 6 times a week. One day a month, if that, and one day every other month. Take an online range officer course, ask your range what needs to be done for you to help run a match, or even just be a safety. It's so easy and it helps more people get out and it helps your range grow. And I mean, if you enjoy your range and you want to see it do well, just, put your money where your mouth is, kind of thing.
I think that's an outstanding recommendation, and from some level of experience, being able to attend matches at different ranges and put events on. I think another thing that additional volunteers brings is diversity. If you've got the same 5 people on the board all the time, they're always making the same decisions based on their experience, and at some point, that's going to be limiting to the gun range and the club. So yeah, absolutely. If you don't like what you see, then do something about it, right? And get in there and volunteer. So
yeah,
good for you. Absolutely.
All right. I absolutely 100% agree. You're the poster child for the 3-pronged approach. But I also wanted to ask you about suggestions for women who are interested in attending these types of events, but just don't know where to start or where to go.
Gun range. Any one of the local gun range typically has matches, and I know it seems scary to get into. That's also one of the reasons why I call my lady shooting group events that we do. So we do classes, matches, and events. The matches are our fun shoots, the one where we have like the paint nights or the balloon pops, things like that. And I call them matches so that people they lower their fear, right? Because a lot of people think matches and think, oh my goodness, this is a huge competition. They're really not. They're more fun matches. They're a little playful, right? Unless, of course, like it's an IPSC match. But, the general matches that gun ranges have aren't scary. A lot of people get along. But when you see that, you think, oh, my goodness, right? So that's why I called them matches in my fun shoots so that people would equate that with fun rather than competition kind of deal. But yeah, reach out to the gun ranges, see if they have any ladies' days, see if they have a ladies' match going on, see if, the CCFR has a great thing where you can look and see all their ladies' days that go on, and they donate to a lot of them and they bring a lot of people out. Ask a friend. That's a really great way to do it. In fact, that's how most people hear about my ladies' club half the time, is because they heard from a friend of a friend who shoots with the club, and then they get interested. So in today's day and age, it's really easy to reach out. Social media is huge. You can find essentially anywhere in your area. I mean, you might have to drive a little bit because sometimes the ranges are far, but if you're willing to put that effort in,
And reaching out to anybody on She Shoots and all of our guests, because every one of our guests, they host, they sponsor, they mentor. So if we're not in your area, look back through some of our shows and find somebody who is. Reach out to us and ask where you can connect, right? So
yeah, absolutely. And actually, I used that little trick the other day. So I'm going to go off to a little story. We had a local high school student had to do a capstone project, and she chose for her capstone project to learn firearms shooting, which I thought was fantastic. So she ended up reaching out to me, but with her capstone project, she had to put 40 hours in. So I pushed her through the PAL course, and she took pictures to, write her little thing on. She took her range officer safety course, which I was very impressed with. But I also used Emily Brown, one of your guys' past, and I set them up on a Zoom meeting so that she could learn the laws surrounding it, so I went through your guys' stuff to set her up, thank you for that, by the way.
That's outstanding, and I'm really excited and very happy to hear that. That's amazing. So we've talked about doing some other offline pieces for She Shoots with you. So maybe we'll get a chance to do that in the not so distant future, and we'll have some more resources for people to reach into. So
So if people do want to get a hold of you, and maybe they're listening in the future and they're going through the catalog, how are they going to reach you? Where are you available? Like on the socials, and then also
Everywhere. So the 3 websites that were posted already, I can be reached at. So www.wklsg.net. And then, of course, all my business pages I can be reached at. So Cantac Candies, Cantac Firearms, Cantac Machining, as well as social media for the most parts. I don't have Instagram anymore because I was done with Instagram and all that
Okay.
stuff. But that being said, all my business pages are absolutely active. Google me, my name will come up. I'm on the Castlegar Pistol Club website, you name it. So
Perfect.
Outstanding. So the last question we always ask our guests before we give away prizes, Amber, is why is it important for women to get involved in the shooting sports?
confidence. Oh my goodness, the confidence. It's firearms have such a stigma surrounding them. And when you finally conquer something that has such a stigma, you feel so good about yourself. And just having the ability to understand a new hobby is fantastic. And not only that, the friendship that goes around with it, right? Like, for example, you two ladies. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have met you if it wasn't to do with firearms, and we still reach out and talk to each other outside of this, which is so much fun. And I love you ladies. And not only that, like I know ladies all over Canada that I keep in contact with, and it's such a tight-knit group. And I know that if I honestly needed something, even if it had nothing to do with firearms, I could reach out to any one of those ladies and they would have my back. And it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I can't think of a better reason.
Yeah.
I will
I
say
can't think
that
of a
it
better
falls
reason.
under men too. I leave them out sometimes. I have lots of male friends as well across the country and mentors as well that have been there for me as well. But again, the ladies, the friendship.
So,
Yeah.
so it's a double bonus then. It's a double.
It's a double bonus.
It's a
I'm a
double
little biased sometimes because of the ladies club, but it's a double bonus.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I think that really concludes our kind of formal questions. And I know there's been a bunch of comments and questions. And I know that that Rahina's got some giveaways and some things to do. So so if you can just hang on, we're going to go through that. But before we do, thank you so much, Amber, and thank you, Kelly,
Yeah.
for such a great interview. All right, over to you, Rahina.
Well,
I
guess
think
if-
it's actually Casey, so she can ask some questions. I know
Okay.
she's in there.
Redirect over to Casey.
I've got I've got one question that I've starred here, and it's from Jamie Lee Biggs, and she wanted to know, how would you go about getting firearms donated for an event, since we don't all own or work in gun stores? And Teresa or Therese reached out also to answer. So she said to reach out to local firearm stores or contact some manufacturers. Many want to see the gun community grow and are willing to support in some way. And do you have anything that you might add to that, Amber?
So the lady who commented is actually part of the West Kootenay Ladies Shooting Group board. I cannot pronounce her name for the life of me, so we just call her T. That being said, my firearm store just gave us the boost to get in. We do work with a lot of other people. For example, Valley Firearms and Trail is fantastic to us. They give us things at cost, which helps the club out a lot. So when I can't get it, they can get it. And it's been fantastic. And again, Black Creek Labs has donated firearms to us, which has again been fantastic. So we have club guns that they have given to us both at cost and just, across the board kind of thing. So it's communication, I always say, is the best way about it. If you are serious about it and you want firearms donated for a club, reach out to first the local people and say, hey, and especially if you're working with the club, offer them some kickback. Hey, we'll hang your business poster up at the range, if you're willing to do this. Oh, look, I got a thumbs up. And, work with people, and if they come back and say, well, we can't do this, it'll be this much money, do a fundraiser. There's nothing that says you can't do a fundraiser. I can't tell you how many times the ladies club made pierogies and borscht and all the random things, and we went and sold them at markets. And we had people donate Christmas ornaments that we were able to sell. It was a lot of work, but it got us to that point. So there's lots of things you can do to obtain firearms for your club.
Yeah.
The other thing that Casey and I found with some of the events we put on is that some of the folks at the clubs that we're at, they're very proud of some of their guns, and some of those guys want to bring them. And I wouldn't have ever had the chance to shoot clays with a black powder shotgun if it wasn't for a donation,
Absolutely.
So
yeah. And
those are the kind of
I skipped that one a little bit, but I will also say you're absolutely right. Most of the time that we do large events, all of the people from the clubs, they bring their own, and it's fantastic. And yeah, just like you said, they have really cool stuff out there. So you really get the opportunity to try everything.
And so many of them are so proud of these guns, and to get the ladies shooting them also. For some of the older guys that have been part of these clubs, they just love that too. So it's an opportunity to engage.
The new shooting smile. They love it.
Yeah. It's an opportunity to engage the members as well. So I hope that answers your question, Jamie Lee. I know you're working hard on your matches, and so hopefully you can find a solution. Were there any other questions, Casey?
No, I think that was pretty much it. It was everybody's been commenting lots, but that was the only question that kind of came up.
Okay, sounds good. So that sounds like it's about time to give out some prizes. So as I mentioned at the start, when I wasn't mumbling over my words, that we have 2 prizes to give out today. We have a She Shoots t-shirt and a Canada First Ammo prize pack. So Casey, who is the winner of the She Shoots t-shirt?
Okay, so the first one is Cassandra Tetley.
Hey, congratulations. So since you are on Facebook, Deneen will message you on Facebook so we can get your information and we can ship the t-shirt to you. And now off to the Canada First Ammo prize pack. Who's the winner for that one?
Canada First prize pack is Shirley Simmons Stevenson.
Hey, congratulations. So same as before, you're on Facebook, so Deneen will shoot you a message so we can get your information. And
or feel free to shoot me one. If that's okay too. Some people do that, so feel free to say, hey, I won stuff, and this is me.
I'll tell her too. That's actually my grandma. She supports me in everything.
That's awesome.
Hi, Grandma.
Okay, well,
Thanks
congratulations to all our winners.
It looks like you had a lot of people that participate in your women's group as well as family on tonight and making comments. It's really great to see so many different people coming on. Free ammo for grandmas.
It's funny too, because when I first started the ladies group, my grandparents actually, and I paid, well, of course my grandma paid me back, but I had booked them in to get their pal as well as my brother. So, I mean, you think of it like normally, your dad or your grandpa has a gun license and they pass it on to the kids. I had put my grandma and my grandpa into the pal course. And then I had refurbished my grandfather an old Winchester 94 lever action, and I had engraved it for him, and it was fun. Yeah. So yeah, grandma's a really good shot, and she shoots at my ghouls events and she dresses up.
Yep. She says, I shoot too.
Yeah, posted that. So more reasons to get out. You can shoot with Amber's grandma.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or go shoot with your own grandma.
Yeah. How about you bring your grandma and then they get to meet Amber's grandma?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
We took my husband's grandma out shooting. She shot a little .22 pistol.
You know what? I can see this is the connection to adopt a senior. I can see this. There's a whole correlation there.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, you say shooting is therapy, so
that's right. That's right.
Shooting at targets.
Yeah.
Let's just clarify.
During one of the first ladies shooting group events, and we had a lovely lady. Goodness, she was great. She was shooting a .22 handgun, and she had such a blast. She laughed so hard her dentures fell out. And at first we didn't, I like, what do? Do you laugh? Do you, oh my goodness. But she picked him up, walked him off, and she was good to go.
I was just going to say, does the 5-second rule apply?
The gun range with all, nah, I don't know. But I mean, she didn't complain, and she still said it was the best day that she had had in a really long time. So it was
There you
good.
go.
Really good.
No, that's
Love it.
awesome.
I don't know. How do you top that? On that note, I don't think we have any more questions or comments or giveaways. So
No. So I think that moves us on to upcoming events. So quickly run through the CUSF. So the CUSF is always looking for volunteers. So if you're interested in volunteering, you can send us an email at submissions@cusf.ca. Also, if you're a student at a Canadian university and you don't have a club, but you're interested in starting one, also you can send us an email at submissions@cusf.ca and we'll help you get it started. Kelly Mapleseed.
Maple seeds are being posted currently on mapleseedrifleman.com. Go to the website, have a look. They're being populated across the country as we confirm them. So if you don't see something for an event near you, just wait. There'll be something. And yeah, that's about it for Maple Seed. What about you, Deneen and Casey?
some youth shooting going on over at Silver Willow Sporting Clays. They're looking for some kids to sign up. So if this is your area in Calgary and you've got youth that are interested in shooting shotgun sporting clays, it's a great little deal. Go to the Silver Willow website and I'll be there as a volunteer. And then while you're there, checking it out for your kids, check it out for yourself. There's also a Ladies Learn to Shoot that comes up later in the year. And I always volunteer for that. Other than that, looking at my calendar for the year and sorting out now that we're into shooting season, if you will, outdoors, what else we can get involved with.
Awesome. Sounds good. So once again, thank you so much, Amber, for being our guest today. She'll just contact her if you have any questions or you're nearby and want to attend one of her shoots. Just make sure it takes lots of pictures. We love to see those. So go ahead and thank our sponsors again: Cabela's Canada Outdoor Fund, Savage Arms, Beretta, Vortex, and Canada First Ammo. If you like today's episode, please leave us a like and follow so you don't miss out on any of our episodes. You can watch us on YouTube and Facebook, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. If you liked our message and would like to learn more about our programs, check out our websites at cusf.ca, ladyguns.ca, and mapleseedrifleman.com. To support us and get some additional perks, check out our membership programs. Thank you all for tuning into the She Shoots podcast, Season 3, Episode 27, Amber Berukoff, Fun Shoot Fundamentals. Make sure to join us on May 14th for the next episode of the She Shoots podcast at our regular time, 5 p.m. PST, 6 p.m. MST, 8 p.m. EST, and keep an eye on our social medias for the next episode announcement. Thank you and have a good night, everyone.
Good night.